Hello. Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. Another one from the book Longlist. I've now got 2 left to read and I'm never going to get them finished before the prize is announced in about 3 weeks' time. I just know I won't. And what's the betting that the one I haven't read is the one that wins? And, after reading all 11, the one I don't get to is the one that wins, but we'll see. Anyway, The Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. Enormous, 600 pages. It's the longest one on the book Longlist. And I don't know about you, but whenever I pick up a book that's over about 300 pages, I think, oh, I'm never going to finish it. But it was a super read. I really, really did enjoy this one. It wasn't quite a 5-star. Well, I'll tell you why later, but it didn't quite get to the 5-star, but I did enjoy it. It's the story of Marian, a fictional character who sets out to circumnavigate the world, passing from over the 2 poles, starting and finishing in New Zealand. And she disappears. And it's that story. This is her story. And she was born in 1914 and she was one of a twin. And we have the whole description of their childhood, which was unconventional. And Marian is this strong character. She's driven. Her uncle leaves the 2 children to their own devices. He wasn't equipped to bring up children. They were given to him as babies because she lost both her parents, and I won't tell you why she lost both her parents. You'll have to read the book to find out. But when she's with her uncle, she develops this desire to fly, and this drives her through her whole life. And the author, she interweaves the story of Marian with snippets about other aviators at the time, the Amy Johnsons, the Amelia Earharts, and different things that are going on in the age of the air. So these great circumnavigation, these great records that were starting at the beginning of the aviation industry. And there comes a point, you're reading all these things, and because you're reading them and you know that Amelia Earhart was a person, and you stop somewhere and say, well, hang on, is Marian Groves real or fictional? And you do get that slight hesitation at times. Am I reading about someone who's real or not? But, anyway, Marian Groves is fictional. And she has a really interesting life, and she is driven. You have her passions, you have her heartbreaks, you have her fight almost to be a woman in the very male-dominated circle of flying, particularly when it comes to World War II. And we've all heard stories of the women who would transport planes from one airfield to the other, sort of the women who flew Spitfires and everything else, sort of taking them from the factories to the different parts of the UK where they're needed, and she becomes one of these, but it's a real struggle to become one of these women. And you have her story, and then you get to her attempt to circumnavigate the world, and along the line you meet other characters in her life: Caleb, who she grew up with, Ruth, that she became very close to when they were both working during World War II to transport these planes, and Ruth's husband Eddie, and her own husband, who was a bad guy. But you've got. I'm trying not to give you spoilers. You've got to read it yourself. Interspersed with this, you've got another timeline. You've got the story of Hadley, who is a film star, and I found that I wondered why the author was putting these little snippets of Hadley in. I think I would have preferred just Marian's story. And this is the reason why I didn't make it a 5-star, because I didn't really like the bits with Hadley in. She was this almost spoilt film star. She was in one of these series, like, I suppose it was a series called Archangel, but because of an indiscretion when she was caught out by spy cam in a liaison with somebody else, that she got kicked off the show, and then she ended up being offered the part of Marian Graves in a film about the life and disappearance of Marian Graves. So this is the sort of the tie-in between the two characters, and there are other similarities between them as well. But I found it wasn't until towards the end that you realised why Hadley was there. But for the whole part, I would almost have just had Marian's story on her own. But what else have I written down? It was a book that, I loved it. You get revelations on the way, and there are parallels between the two women, and you get Marian making her way in a man's world and doing things, disguising herself as a boy so she can work, and things like that, because of this desire to fly. And I liked it. I don't know whether it's a book that will win the Booker's. I've read about 10 on the long list now. This is one that's on the short list. I'm not sure whether I would tip it as a winner. I'm not sure. I've still a sneaking feeling that the one that I've not read yet off the short list is the one that's going to win it, but who knows. Anyway, Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. 600 pages, but it is worth reading. And I'm now moving on to one of the others on the list, and I will speak to you again soon. So happy reading. Take care.